Hello everyone, I'm Roseann Sarica Benedict, and I am here because I wanted to share some Christmas cookie recipes with you. It's that kind of day. I am feeling like it's a week before Christmas. I haven't baked at all, and with not socializing, I don't really have the need to bake, but how could you have a Christmas and not have any cookies? So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to make one dough, and out of that dough we're going to get 4 different kinds of cookies. So it's going to be really easy. You're going to love it, and they all taste yummy. So let's get started. We're going to take 4 cups of flour and pour that in a bowl. We're going to take 1/3 cup of confectionery sugar and put that in a bowl. And then we are going to take, and these are really, really easy cookies. When you do the little bit of variations, there's a couple of extra steps, but for the most part, it's 4 ingredients. So we're gonna do 2 cups of butter, and I use salted butter. Some people, when they bake, use unsalted butter and try to control the salt themselves, but I use salted butter. So 2 cups of butter. And you know, everybody does things different. Some people, you know, cream the butter and get it nice and fluffy, and I'm a just throw it in the bowl, plop it together kind of girl. So I am going to take my rings off because I don't want to get dough stuck in my rings. But and actually I'm going to take my watch off too, although I won't get my hands all the way up there, my dough up there. So we have the 4 cups of flour, excuse me, 1 1/3 cups of confectionery sugar, 4 sticks of butter, which is 2 cups, and we're going to mix that up with a teaspoon, or actually 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Okay, that looks like 2 teaspoons, right? Okay, and we're just going to mix this up. So this is actually the first weekend that I don't have any real estate activity going on. So I have all my listings contracted, which is a good thing. And you know, people aren't going to put their houses on the market during Christmas and New Year's. So it's a good time to just reflect on the year and do the things that make you feel good, and baking always makes me feel good. So you just mix this up with your hands. You can use 2 hands if you want. And again, if you're a mixer creamer person, you can do this in your Mixmaster, KitchenAid Mixmaster kind of thing. But I don't know, I feel like it's therapeutic to mix the dough up. So what we're going to do is we're going to make dip shortbread, which I've done the recipe for that before, but I've gotten so many requests actually this holiday season. I've gotten a few requests for that, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to make butter balls, which also I've done before, but again, they're easy. And then I'm going to do 2 cookies that I have not done on video before. One is a raspberry almond thumbprint, and the other one, yummy, 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 is a caramel chocolate thumbprint cookie. And all of these are done with the same batter. And I don't know if you can see, it's all coming together really nicely. And almost done here, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do. It's really beautiful, this dough. Gosh. Okay, so as you can see, I have this beautiful, soft, smooth dough. And what I'm gonna do, again, because I can't bake too many cookies this year because I don't have any place to go and share the cookies. And if I leave them here, I'm gonna eat them all myself. So I am going to take half of this batch and then half again, and I'm gonna put them in these other bowls. And so we are going to have 4 different kinds of cookies with this one batter. Okay, so I'm going to move these other bowls out of the way, And I'm going to put my baking sheet right here so you can see. There you go. And to this one quarter of the double batch that I made, so it's really a half a batch of the cookies that I made, I'm going to add about a half a cup of pecans that I chopped. And I'm just going to mix those up so that they're incorporated in the dough. Really simple. These are these butter balls, after they bake and they come out of the oven, you roll them in confectionery sugar, and they are like poppable. They melt in your mouth and they're unbelievable. So that's one of my favorites. So you take about a teaspoon of the dough and you just put it all out on your cookie sheet. So as you can see, I did a teaspoon of all these cookies, and now what I'm going to do is just roll them into a ball. Very simple. The cookie sheet is not greased. There's enough butter in the mixture that will prevent them from sticking. And okay, so this is perfect. I have almost 23 cookies that I made from this one dough. I'm gonna pop this in the oven, 350 for about 10 minutes. Check the bottoms once the timer goes off. Make sure they're just slightly golden brown. And then we're going to roll these in confectionery sugar, and that's it. These are butter balls. So now, on to the next cookie. Okay, next cookie, same batter, 1/4 of the double batch. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the, and actually, I'm not gonna measure because I don't. But just take about a teaspoonful of the cookies and then put them between your fingers and just make little rolls. And these cookies, when they're done, we're going to either drizzle chocolate on them or dip them in chocolate and then dip them in nuts or coconut. You know, whatever your preference is. I'll probably make them a little festive, so I may use coconut. But let's do this. Okay, so this one I have about 1.5 dozen instead of 2 dozen cookies, but they're a little bit longer, and who knows, I'm not accurate with my dividing in half, but these are going to go in the oven again, 350 for about 10 minutes, same thing. When they come out of the oven, we'll check the bottoms, make sure they're just lightly golden brown, and then we'll decorate these. Okay, so now my next cookie, I took my 3rd batch of dough, and I'm going to add a little bit of almond extract to that, probably about a teaspoon or so. And I'm going to incorporate that. Almond extract smells so good, like vanilla extract, right? All those extracts smell so good, but taste disgusting if you actually get it on your fingers and and taste it. But once it's in the cookie, it's fabulous. So this is my 3rd dough, and like I said, same exact dough as those other 2 that we just did. I just added some vanilla extract to that, and I'm going to take these by teaspoonfuls, put these on my tray, and then roll them in balls. Okay, what I did here is I made the almond raspberry balls that are going to be in the oven. I did get some coconut, and I'm just going to put it in the bowl to show you how creative you can be with baking. So I think almond raspberry is always a fabulous combination, but I also love coconut. So if you wanted to take one of these and roll it in a little bit of coconut like this, they will have a different flavor and be absolutely wonderful. So that's an option that you can do. I'll just do 4 of these like this. But just, you know, roll it in the coconut, have a little texture to it, and obviously the coconut gets toasted in baking, and when they come out of the oven and you put that raspberry jam in them, they're just fabulous. Okay, so I'm gonna finish these up. And you know, actually, you can do one of two things. You can put the jam in ahead of time, or you could put it in after. But I think for this particular recipe, I'm going to put it in now because then the jelly doesn't get so sticky afterwards. So I'm going to deviate from my original thought with this recipe, and I'm going to do it slightly different. Okay, so I just got some seedless food all over my shirt. Where's my apron? Anyway, so I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna deviate from my original recipe, which was to make the cookies and then put the jam in afterwards. I'm gonna do it with the jam in. It bakes and then it gets a little bit better texture. So basically you just take a little bit of the seedless, make sure it's seedless, and fill the little hole like that. And these are good because then when they're done from the oven, you just put a little tiny almond glaze over them, and they're fabulous. That one's filled to the top. All these cookies are so easy and take no time. I mean, I don't know how many minutes I've been doing this, but obviously I'm going to shorten my video so I don't bore you all to death. Okay, last few. These are going to be so delicious. Oh, I forgot one. And there's one in the corner here. I'm going to add just a little bit more jelly too because I was a little tight with my jelly here. I didn't mean to be. Okay, so that's our almond raspberry shortbread bowls, and with a few with coconut. Again, $3.50 for, I think these take a little bit longer, like 12 minutes. But you check them, you know, after 10 minutes and let's see how they're done. And we'll get on to my last cookie. Okay, my last cookie is gonna be so yummy, you're gonna love it. It is, should I take this confectionery sugar off my chest? My last cookie is going to be called caramel pecan thumbprints, I think is what it's called. I don't even remember what the name of it's called, but caramel thumbprint, chocolate caramel thumbprint cookies, that's what they're called. So again, same dough. The only difference is we're going to take about a third. Let's see if I can see where a third is. Okay. Okay. A third of regular cocoa, and pour that into there, and then mix that up. And that's what's going to give it the chocolate on this dough. And you know what's weird is this recipe is, you know, the same as the others. And even though it has more dry ingredients, it doesn't call for any more liquid. So I'm not sure why. I'm not a scientist. I don't know what the science is behind that. But, and I suppose that you're supposed to put the cocoa in when you're putting the flour and mixing it and incorporating it. But, you know, for demonstration purposes, I'm putting it in afterwards. It will come out the same way, I'm sure. I'm not worried about that. But as long as they come out delicious, that's all that matters. But these cookies, all of them are pretty, they're delicious, they're easy, and they get you in the holiday spirit. So, okay, so here's my dough that I added the cocoa to. Okay, so I am back. We're gonna finish our chocolate caramel thumbprints. You don't have to do this step, but I find that it really does help the nuts adhere. So I'm going to take an egg and separate it like so, and then I'm going to just froth up this egg a little bit, just a little bit. So it's nice and frothy. And then I'm going to take these little balls and just drop them. Can you see that actually? I guess you probably can. Okay. Drop my balls, my chocolate balls, into the egg batter. And then what we're going to do is coat them in some pecans that I've already chopped. Put those in a dish. Okay, let's see if you can see all this stuff here. Okay, you can, right? I'm gonna bring the eggs closer, this one further. Okay, I think I got it situated here. So I'm gonna take the balls, dip them in egg, just roll them around a little bit, dip them in the nuts, and then put them on my pan like that. And I think the egg just helps them adhere a little bit better, the nuts. So we're gonna go through this whole step and then I'll show you what we do. I think I just heard my husband come home. I sent him to the store to get me some caramels, which I needed for the cookies.
Hi, honey.
Hi, honey. Thank you.
Here's your caramels.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so now we're back. We've put the nuts on these fabulous chocolate balls. And again, we're going to do that little indentation thing where with the bottom of the wooden spoon, you'll find a wooden spoon that has the right indent. But just stick it in there and make a nice little indentation, because what's going to happen is after these are baked, we're going to add some caramel into the center that we've melted, and then we're going to let it set, and it just becomes a cookie of yumminess. So okay, let's finish these up. Okay, so all of these have their little thumbprints in them, or their little holes in them. These are going to get baked for 350 for about 10 minutes also. Okay, so I just popped the caramel thumbprints out of the oven and the almond raspberry out of the oven. They all look delicious, cooked perfectly. I didn't burn anything. And I will let them cool for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then we will do what we need to do to finish them up. Okay, so while the thumbprints are cooling, I took caramels, you know, caramel candy. This here, these caramels, and I got 14 of them, and I unrolled them, and I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of heavy cream. It's about 2. And I'm going to put that in the microwave, and I'm going to soften the caramels, and then we're going to fill those thumbprints with the caramels. So I'll be back to you. Okay, so here's my caramel that I just stuck in the microwave for just a few seconds, I think 30 seconds. And it's not quite soft enough, so I'm just gonna put it in for another 30 seconds. But I incorporated the milk. Actually, it's, now that I'm stirring it, it's pretty incorporated. Yeah, actually this might be fine. Yeah, this is good consistency. So as soon as those cookies are cool, I'm gonna put this on top of the cookies, and they're gonna be delicious. Okay, I'm back with the 2 cookies that I put in the oven first, the caramel chocolate thumbprints and the almond raspberry thumbprints. So the final step on these is you saw that I melted some caramel with some cream, and this is the consistency of it. It's really nice. We're just going to take a little bit of this and just fill that thumbprint up like so. It's a little bit sticky, but it will be yummy. Of course, I'm not a perfectionist either, so if it doesn't get exactly in the hole, it's okay. And I'm just gonna go through this very quickly. No, I think we're good here. Okay, I think it's perfect, the amount of caramel that I had. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, oh, those look really good, don't they? What we're going to do is not lick my finger, even though I really want to, but I am going to get a little chocolate and just drizzle the chocolate on top of these, just so they look even prettier than they already do. Of course, if you're on a diet, you don't want the extra calories, you don't have to put the chocolate on them. I don't know how many calories are in each cookie, but I heard at holiday time there's no calories in cookies. So let me go get that chocolate so that way I could drizzle it, and then we'll do the almond shortbread. Okay, so what I did here was I took some regular semi-sweet chocolates and I just put them in a microwave bowl and melted them for 30 seconds. I stirred them and then I added some more thyme and then I melted those. So you can take those and just, you know, really quickly put a little swirl of chocolate around here like that. And they look so pretty. Oh, that one got a big clump of chocolate. That wasn't what it was supposed to do. I could use a piping bag, and that would be even better, but I'm being lazy and pretending I know what I'm doing here with the spoon. And what I'm gonna do in a minute for the final touch on these cookies is just gonna put them over the edge, because we all love caramel, but we all love what? Even better. We all love salted caramel even better. So just as the final touch, I'm just gonna give a little sprinkle of salt on top of these while the caramel is still soft and it'll adhere. The salt will adhere to it. And those are my salted caramel chocolate thumbprints. So that's one cookie. Now we have this almond raspberry cookie, and I have some confectionery sugar in here. I'm just gonna add like 2 teaspoons of heavy cream or milk. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of almond extract, and I'm gonna make this into a little like glaze. Not thick. I can add more milk or water. Okay, this is the right consistency, like this. So then we take this and we just do the same thing that I just did with the caramel, and you just go back and forth with these cookies. Make a little design like this, back and forth. You can be clumpy if you want, or not. And I love these cookies, they're so good. Oh my gosh, heaven, I'm in heaven. Hold on. Okay, so here, I'm gonna take this one and put it in the back because it was really clumpy. But here are my raspberry almond thumbprints. So that's 2 down. Now we have the other 2 that are in the oven, and I'll be to them in a second. Okay, so I'm going to finish up these cookies because I know I'm salivating and I can't wait to eat some. But anyway, the butter bowls just came out of the oven. To be totally honest with you, they're a little darker than I normally like them to be, but I was preoccupied, so I wasn't paying attention to my timer that was going off. But you can do a couple of different things. You can take the cookies and actually just dredge them in confectionery sugar like this, which is my preference. or you can just sprinkle them like this with confectionery sugar, whatever's easier for you. I usually actually do this first, that way I know they're totally coated, and then give them a final sprinkle, because I think they look prettier with the sprinkled confectionery sugar on them. And this is just, you know, easy, quick, easy, no, not hard at all. Okay, so they're all covered with confectionery sugar, and then, okay, and then, like I said, I take a final little sprinkle of confectionery sugar and do it like that, so that it's nice and light and beautiful. So those are my butter balls. I'm going to show you those, and I'll plate everything up in a minute. And then my final cookie, the fourth of the 4 that I made, is the same chocolate that we used for the caramel cookies. But I did add a little Crisco to this, and because it gives it some shine. But basically, you take this and you just dip the cookie in it, and then, you basically just dip it in, and then put it in little coconut that I've tinted red and green for the holidays. I also have nuts that you can dip them in. So again, whatever your preference is, but these are really pretty cookies, very easy to do. There's one with nuts. We're big nut people. We're nutty in our house. And I'll just do this with the whole batch. All right, I'm gonna plate these cookies and get back to you. Okay, so I've finished my cookies. I plated them up. I have them all ready for somebody to come and taste them. Let me see who I can find in my house. Oh, honey! Here's my husband. He just coincidentally walked in while they were all done.
They look fantastic, honey.
Which one is your favorite? Which one would you eat first?
I would eat this Linzer tart kind of style cookie first.
Or raspberry almond. All right, let me know what you think. Yeah? Well, he knows the right
Wonderful
thing to say. So I can tell you that he'll finish off this cookie platter in no time. So if anybody's hungry, wants to come over and try one, you better come right now.
Enjoy.
And Merry Christmas to all of you. Bye-bye.